They say anything could happen in the WWE, and new. Gunther is your new World Heavyweight Champion.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling, and I'm a wrestling content creator from Long Island, New York. Thanks so much for checking out the video. I, for one, am stunned as WWE Raw just went off the air a few moments ago, and clean as a brand new cookie sheet, Gunther is once again the World Heavyweight Champion. The Ring General does it for the second time, defeating Jey Uso. Got him in a choke, and Jey Uso passed out, and that was it. The ref called for the bell. And, you know, watching this match, I absolutely, first and foremost, before we even get into my reaction on the title change, I'm going to get to in a second, this match was awesome. I loved this main event. Maybe it was just me, but I thought it told such a great story of this guy in Gunther who, let's be honest, is not really used to losing too many matches. He was UK champion forever. He was Intercontinental champion for the longest of anybody in the history of WWE. And then he comes up, he gets the world title, and then he loses at WrestleMania to Jey Uso. And it really felt like Gunther had not thought of anything except that loss at WrestleMania, like he should, until this match with Jey, and until he knew he'd get that rematch with Jey, and he was not going to let it go for naught. He was going to do whatever it took to beat Jey Uso, and Jey comes out, great entrance with his son. His son did have his cell phone in his hand, which was a little interesting, but they came out, great moment, doing the yeet together, and it felt like Gunther had an answer for every single thing Jey Uso did. He countered moves, he was able to kick out of moves, he took Jey's best punch and immediately returned it. And now, the story, of course, is all in the chase of Jey Uso, now coming back for that world title. But I was so surprised because, in my opinion, WWE has seemed like the number one goal for them has been pushing Jey Uso as the top guy in the company. Cody came back. First thing he did was introduce world champion Jey Uso, handed the mic to him to let him close the show on SmackDown. Every single turn, it's all been about, let's get everything on Jey Uso. And yet here we are, less than 2 months after WrestleMania, and already Jey has lost the title back to Gunther. And during this match, when Gunther continued to get Jey in these chokes and different moves and these submissions, I was like, wow, he's really out wrestling him. It almost doesn't make sense for Jey to be able to continue to get out, and then he couldn't. And that was really the story of it, and the show ends with Jey on the outside, his son looking over him, and it really was. It felt like anything could happen in WWE. This is like the first time I could remember a title change on TV that wasn't a Money in the Bank cash-in, I want to say since Miz and Bobby Lashley. So it's been about 4 years, and I just, was so surprised by it. I mean world title change, by the way, on the men's side of things. Obviously, Io Sky just won the women's championship on Raw not long ago. But just such a cool moment. I was surprised by it. Yes, I don't think this is the end of Jey Uso as main event Jey Uso. I think WWE still sees a lot in him, and I wouldn't be worried if you're a fan of him. I think he's clearly selling a lot of merchandise, and I do believe that he is here to stay in the main event scene. But I guess they just felt like, you know what, let's put the chase back on, if you will, for Jey Uso. Would not shock me at all to see Jey Uso as that mystery man in the King of the Ring tournament, the match that's going to be taking place next week. I do believe he will be the mystery man in that match, and I could see him going on and winning the King of the Ring tournament to get a title match back at Gunther. Let's go into some of the highlights of the show, though, because it was a loaded episode of Monday Night Raw. This show was flying. Show kicks off with John Cena. Cena comes out to remind us that the clock is ticking. With tonight, we are down to 19 appearances, so only 18 remain. And give John Cena a lot of credit. He's the only wrestler on the roster to have competed at every premium live event this year, and I expect that will continue for the remainder of this year. But it was a harsh reality that the time is ticking, so enjoy him while we've got him here. And he did come out and talk about how at this point he doesn't want to waste his time with Ron Killings or R-Truth. He wants competition, and that brought out CM Punk, which honestly surprised me. Obviously, we know the next show is going to be in Saudi Arabia. CM Punk has been often critical of the relationship and the shows in Saudi Arabia, but Punk would come out, cut a great promo on Cena, and said that, you know, hey, you have 18 dates left. Let me know which one of those dates is going to go to me so I could take that title off you. And then it was interesting because I guess so many people know about this that Cena said, all right, you want this belt? You got to follow me to Saudi Arabia and I'll see you at Night of Champions. And the whole crowd kind of went, oh, like everyone, I guess, knows this and it's common knowledge. And it will be John Cena versus CM Punk. I can't wait. First time. This was one that I had circled as soon as Cena said he was going to retire was, will we get Punk and Cena one more time? And here we will. I hope it's 2 more times, selfishly, because I'd love to see it live at SummerSlam. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to make it to Saudi Arabia. I think if I've got one Saudi Arabia trip in me, it'll be for the Royal Rumble, but that is on the back burner in terms of plans right now, and I don't anticipate it happening. But if I did, it would be for the Royal Rumble. I won't be there for Night of Champions. But this match is huge. This is a big deal, and it's one that I'm excited about. And you got to remember, too, all of these Saudi Arabia shows, they're going to load them up. They're going to give them big marquee matches, and there's few as big a marquee match as you can get with CM Punk and John Cena. They did also tease Seth Rollins. He came out, held up his Money in the Bank briefcase, so just kind of keeping him in mind. And then they turned their attention over to the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. The way they're doing this is there's going to be 4 fatal 4-way matches on each side. So you've got the Raw side and the SmackDown side. You've got 1 for the men, 1 for the women, and 4 opening round matches for each bracket, and each one of those opening round matches will be a fatal 4-way. And it's interesting because you look at this bracket and you probably, I mean, my pick for the men is the finals is going to be Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. At least that was my pick for the men. But again, I do think with Jey Uso losing the title, I can absolutely see a scenario where Jey Uso will be that mystery man next week. I can see a scenario where he ends up getting to the main event and winning the King of the Ring. But I'm going to stick with Cody and Randy Orton. But they do some strange things when it comes to these Kings and Queens of the Rings. They do take some chances. Case in point, the 2 superstars who won tonight and advanced were Roxanne Perez as well as Sami Zayn. So, you know, you look at the bracket here, and you would have thought maybe Rhea Ripley will be winning this. Not the case. She's already out, and Roxanne Perez has advanced. And looking at the women's side of things, my prediction for the final is going to be Jade Cargill going up against Charlotte Flair. I do see both Cody and Jade as my winners for the King and Queen of the Ring. But it'll be interesting to see kind of how this shakes out. Sometimes they do kind of go a little bit against the grain with these tournaments. So I'm excited for it. They did announce also that Asuka will be returning on the Queen of the Ring side. And I did mention already that next week there's a fatal 4-way consisting of Rusev, Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and a mystery guy. My initial thought for that mystery guy was actually going to be Big E. You think about meat slapping meat, maybe this would have been an opportunity for Big E to return. That could just be wishful thinking on my part, but that's what I initially thought, but now I absolutely believe it will be Jey Uso, and this will be his opportunity and his avenue to try to get back into the world title picture and get his title back from Gunther, because otherwise it is a little puzzling, right? The guy worked so hard to get all the way through to get this moment at WrestleMania. I don't think they've just given up on him. I really don't. And so I do anticipate that he's going to be coming back for that for that World Championship, and to do so by winning the King of the Ring. Elsewhere on the card, Nikki Bella returned. I thought this segment was great. Nikki returns and mentioned how much she was so excited about where the women's evolution had come from. And I did mention earlier today, Nikki Bella main evented the first Evolution and had been brought back to main event the women's Evolution, that first show against Ronda Rousey. So when I heard she was coming back tonight in her hometown, I thought maybe they'll run it back and have Nikki Bella main event Evolution 2. I'm not sure that's the way they're going, but they did set up a direction for her by having Liv Morgan confront her and talk about how, hey, if you're going to talk about all the women who have made such a great splash, because Nikki did, she started talking about all the women that make her excited, who are on the up and up, and all the veterans who have been there and have succeeded so much in the meantime, and made her really happy, this, that, and the third. But in doing so, she did leave out Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan came out and was like, oh, no, you're not going to leave me out. Like, I've worked my ass off. I've carried this division, and mentioned that she holds the woman. She has 3 things that Nikki Bella doesn't have, and that's respect, the title, and her man. And so it'll be interesting to see if it'll end up being Nikki Bella and Liv Morgan one-on-one at Evolution, or maybe you do a tag match, you bring back Brie Bella, and it's the Bellas versus Raquel and Liv Morgan. Either way, a pretty big match, though, for Evolution. I really dug this segment. I thought both of them came off really well. Speaking of a segment I dug, they also had another return on this show. The show was loaded. Not only did we get Asuka coming back for the Queen of the Ring tournament, but Becky Lynch also was in the ring. She was having a little bit of a confrontation with Lyra Valkyria, and who should return but Bayley. Bayley came out, laid out Becky Lynch. Crowd went absolutely ballistic. Not sure if they had announced where they're going with this. I don't know if it's going to be at Night of Champions, but for me, I actually wouldn't even mind seeing this main event, the Evolution show. I think it's that big a match. I know Becky and Bayley have had some matches over the years, but I can't think of like a big marquee match for the two of them. So I would love to see them at Evolution. I think that's a big match for that show, and I think it'd be great. I really do. They also had a match. Chad Gable took on AJ Styles. Solid match, but again, Chad Gable took an L. So 3 L's in a span of 72 hours for Chad Gable. I don't get it. When I heard King of the Ring, I thought Chad Gable would be the perfect guy to utilize this, to bring him up and have him win the whole thing and elevate him. I don't know that they see him too much more than... I think he has a lot of respect, and I think certainly he's in marquee matches, but I don't know that they see him too much more than a comedy guy right now, unfortunately. So he's not even in the tournament, and he did. He lost to AJ Styles pretty clean. No shame in losing to AJ, but at the same time, I see Chad Gable as about a tippy-top guy, and I hope that he gets that opportunity to ascend to that level. Then the other big part of the show, of course, and I kind of saved it to the end here because I did think it was great. And I think I mentioned Sami Zayn had advanced in the King of the Ring tournament, so he's going to go. You could also see Sami Zayn in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. What a good opportunity it would be for him, in considering the fact that he is that obviously very much beloved in Saudi Arabia. You could certainly see a situation where he could also win the King of the Ring. But again, I'm going to stick with my pick of Orton versus Cody, really going against the grain. A chalky pick, if you will, from me. But that being said, you did have also the return of R-Truth. Came out and said, listen, you all wanted the truth, and, you know, real impassioned promo from R-Truth. And then he went ahead and he cut off all of his hair, and he said, I'm not R-Truth anymore. R-Truth is funny. He didn't take things too serious. He was too sweet. He was too friendly. And the second he cut off his hair, the crowd just erupted into holy shit chants. It was great, and he didn't have anything blocked out. You heard it clear as day. And at the end of the day, and that was, you know, a huge moment, a great promo for him. He mentioned that he's now Ron Killings, and this is going to be him moving forward, so put respect on his name. Almost felt a bit like perhaps he was turning heel, which would be crazy. He's literally one of the most over guys on the roster, but the crowd ate it up. They didn't give a crap. Nobody was accepting that he was turning heel. If that was what he was doing, they were completely behind him. They loved him even more so than they have. And he's super hot right now. I mean, you could go all the way if you wanted to with Ron Killings right now. You really could. And I'm excited to see where he goes with this run. I think I had goosebumps during his promo, and I'm I'm pumped. I don't know if he's going to get another shot with Cena or where he goes from here, but I'm certainly intrigued. I'm glad that he's back, and I'm glad that, we're doing something completely different from R-Truth. Yes, I loved R-Truth, and I do hope that people will still love the character now that he's not doing the usual antics that R-Truth has. They will accept and embrace this more serious character. But if they don't, you could easily turn him heel. You could say, hey, I came out here as myself now you got to turn against me. But that certainly did not seem to be the case tonight. I don't anticipate that there will be anybody turning on Ron Killings, and I'm really excited to see where they go from there. But yeah, crazy moment, cut off his trademark hair. And then when he was in backstage, he threw the dreadlocks away and said, again, put respect on his name. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. But I thought Raw was an absolute home run. I had to come on here and talk with all of you. It's one of those things where the second I saw this title change hands, I was like, oh my God, let me run over here, put on my phone, put on my camera here, and get going with my breakdown of all things on Raw. I thought it was so cool. A reminder that anything could happen in WWE. Felt super unpredictable. I don't think anyone thought Gunther had any chance to win. A couple people fantasy booked Seth Rollins cashing in. Not to be. There's so many ways they can go with this. Maybe this is the opportunity to do Sami Zayn's big push and have him and Gunther at SummerSlam. and kind of reignite that rivalry that happened at WrestleMania 40 with Sami taking the belt off of Gunther. Maybe he'll be again trying to take the belt off of Gunther, but this time the World Heavyweight title. So that could be the direction. There's so many different ways. Who knows? Let me know what you thought. Was it too soon to take the title off Jey Uso? Will he be back in the main event picture coming after the title again? Let me know what you thought, and I will see you all again in the next video. Take care.